I hope my voice has been apparent. Wrong ways. Anyone who wants to learn can probably learn the gist from just watching what I'm going to be posting. However, there are certain aspects and nuances that, one, I'm not going to put behind a brick wall and make you pay for it, but hey, man, guys got to eat and I'm willing to teach. I'm hoping to make this some kind of income stream, because working in a 9 to 5 in the traditional sense just makes me want to blow my brains out. And trust me, I was just too poor to get a gun. It was thanks to, funnily enough, someone who has nothing to do with spirituality. Y'all should Google Gerard Morin. He is someone who cracked Tesla's, long sought after secret, and not the whole stupid spirituality co-opted nonsense of that 369 bullshit. No. Go search Gerard Morin. He essentially figured out over unity. It's real. Just like this is real, over unity is real. You can put in certain power 1 unit y and get x 2, 3 multiplied way more. It just depends on the actual design. He walks you through it. It's a lot of material in terms of how dense it is. He sounds like, frankly, an adult Dexter from Dexter's Lab, and it's just a gem to listen to if you happen to be familiar with that cartoon show. If not, it's still kind of hilarious because he talks shit about everybody. And it's true. We're all too stupid. Every single one of us, self-included, every single one of us, too goddamn stupid. We don't practical experiment anymore. We don't congregate anymore unless it's with a goddamn church. We don't talk to each other anymore. It's all done through a fucking screen. And he basically, just like calls people out for not even testing it, not even just simply trying it themselves. And it's true. People will just parrot stupid information over and over and over and then assert it as law because some dude said it was true and they had a degree. That's it. I was suicidal. Like, straight up. Ideation, getting to the point where I'd been homeless for 7 months. I lost my housing because my landlord, after renting the house for 10 years, COVID came along, his son in LA lost his job, and he was going to give his house that I was renting to his son. And so he informed me about, if I recall correctly, 2.5 months in advance. I'd been running a house share, renting out rooms for loosely about 10 years. And, things just hadn't been going well before COVID. Years of unaddressed chronic toxic stress, social anxiety, being villainized and vilified so many different ways and so many different times by, renters who would lie through their goddamn teeth happily during the interview. And then some months will go by and the crazy leaks out. You ask them to simply pay what they owe, utilities, the rent, and participate in cleanup, which they signed a goddamn roommate agreement saying that they would do. But either by fault of their parents not raising children right, I had to deal with them. And I did my best with what I had. However, my faults of being stubborn, always over-relying on myself, being hyper-vigilant because I didn't have anybody else growing up, I just kept shouldering the burden and shouldering the burden and shouldering the burden. And at a certain point, you get so many balls up in the air, no matter how good a juggler you are, some start to hit the ground. And that's what it got to. I couldn't focus on my relationships. I couldn't focus on my small business. I was a horticulturalist for residential, grow food, not lawns, except everyone loves the idea. No one wants to fucking grow food. No one wants to literally put water in a can, dump it on the plants once every other goddamn day, and then go pull some dead leaves for 15 minutes every other day. Because it's too much work, or they have a black thumb, or they kill everything, because God forbid they learn anything. But anyways, I digress. It got to the point where I emotionally shut down. I simply said, fuck it, I don't care. I stopped paying my bills. I only earned enough through DoorDash to literally feed myself, cover the rent, pay the utilities, and keep the internet on. And I had been so traumatized by problem housemates that the thought of when I needed to fill a master bedroom and a subsequent other bedroom up, because I had 2 open before I'd been informed I was going to lose the house. So I put it off for 2.5 months. I kept kicking the can down the road, paying partial rent payments to my landlord, and 10 years. It took COVID plus 2 years, plus 5 horrible experiences sequentially from housemates. They were just sticking me with thousands of dollars of unpaid rent and utilities that I had to cover, destroying my own fucking credit, obliterating it, you know. And that's not exactly a drop-down option for like why you have shitty credit when you want to try and rebuild it or get a business loan. But that's my fault. Those are my failings, you know. It's no one else's fault other than my own, instead of just, you know, kicking them out, which I never had an opportunity to do because I had to get the rent paid. I had never missed a rent payment. I had never been late with the rent payment, not once. In 8 years, 9 years. No, it was year 10. Year 10 was the first year. And it was only the literally last 5 months with partial rent payments. Overwhelmingly because it just got to be too much. COVID wasn't going to end anytime soon. I didn't have anybody in terms of a support structure. I have a father, I have a mother. My mother is schizophrenic, unfortunately. My father couldn't give two fucking shits about me. So I had nobody. My friends were my housemates, and ultimately that fizzled out. And maybe that was, again, my failing, but it's always been incredibly difficult to make connections with people that actually mattered. I don't give a shit about small talk. I can't stand facile, surface level bullshit. I like to get into the nitty gritty right away. Not because, you know, I'm gonna judge you, because I don't. I'm just interested in the story. That's it. I love stories. You know? People watch soap operas. I would like to view live soap operas via people. You know, I don't have to be your best fucking friend, but if I could be that fly on the wall, that's amazing to me, you know? I won't literally have the popcorn out, but if you like popcorn, I'll gladly make some. I don't like to be part of the drama. Sadly, I tend to. But, you know, being witness to it, I think that's just fun. You know, I don't have to be an active participant. This isn't a Gallagher show. But anywho, as you've come to now understand, I'm quite verbose. Loquacious, if you're putting it nicely. But that's just me. And so back to Gerard Morin. I lose the house in 2021 of August. Complete 10 years of that house. It was my social experiment to run a house share. Be a safe haven, a communal place that people can have as a safe, literal fucking space. And I just got turned into an innkeeper. And people would come, stay for the amount of time that they felt was good for them, and then vape. Every interview, I would let people know it's a communal household. We try and work together. We try and participate equally. Here's the roommate agreement. Here's the lease agreement. You know, it's month to month for your protection and mine, but we would like you to stay for a year. I always ask the housemates existing to be participant on it. Most years, they weren't really that engaged or too caring. It was more just like, yeah, sure. Or, nah, I'm cool. Which is fine, you know. I didn't require people to be part of a household. I just let them know that that's kind of like the goal, and if that sounds cool to you, you know, why not join? And I stupidly would presume that they would want to live with me in the house and the housemates that existed at the time, because it was like a nerd den. You know, it was a bunch of gamer, anime watching, geek culture kind of oddities and Land of Misfit toys. So I lose the house, and I had 2.5 months of lead time. Now, because I'm emotionally just broken, shut down, my overall income was minimal, to say the least, but I was essentially keeping the lights on and paying my bills and feeding myself. I had one friend. I had one. They were a ex, long time, years prior, turned into my, at that time, current best friend. And they had been there, you know, front row seats, for all of the turmoil and shit I'd gone through and stuff I'd had to be victim of and victim from. And they gave me a glimmer of hope, because they had offered, unprompted, to essentially move out together. You know, she would get a place, and then I would be there to focus on me, to get my wellness under, you know, as a priority, to focus on me. And I was upfront with her. It's like, I told her straight up, I have no timeline. I have no guarantees. I have no promises. All I can tell you is that it will take time based on what I know about psychology. It'll take months at minimum, maybe a year or two, could be more. Depends if I get access to therapy, depends if ultimately I get to avoid any pitfalls and other kind of nonsense. And I told her all that, and she said, I'm going to be that rock for you. That rock that you are for everyone else. I'm going to be that rock for you. And so I put the one egg I had, which was all of them, in her basket. And so I started to get hopeful. And so for a little bit of time, it took a while to kind of let that sink in of the reality. I still had other pending issues to deal with and nonsense I won't bother you with now. But it gets to 2 weeks before I have to leave the house. She still hasn't found a place. I told her that my credit was disastrous and you shouldn't put me on the rental application. You should get your own spot. And, one thing led to another, and she bails on me. 2 weeks before I need to leave that house. I have no funding saved up because I was focusing on my wellness and mental health, and addressing that and not prioritizing saving my, funds, because it takes time. And I know a lot of you will say like, well, you shouldn't have did that. Yeah, no shit. But when someone tells you to believe in them and that they're gonna be the rock that you need and not to worry, and they're your best fucking friend. I don't know about your best friends, man, but I tend to take that as fucking, at their word, and it's gonna be the thing. And in all fairness, she came through with giving me the money to move out, get a storage unit, and then I became homeless for 7 months. Things got worse. I have a substance use disorder. I am a hard drug user, poly drug user in the past, but it's kind of long in the past. And ultimately, it was not something that escalated. It was just something that was. And a lot of you are going to say it's like, oh, it's a drug addiction. That's the whole reason why everything fell apart. It's like, no, man. That occurred as a result of all the abuse, the trauma, the abandonment, the unaddressed mental health issues, and all of the other minutia of problems. It had always been manageable, and always was. Never escalated. I never, took a nosedive. Never hit rock bottom. Definitely had a few panic attacks here and there. Had to learn the hard way about, like, oh, it's not a heart attack. I'm just like, I need some anti-anxiety meds, or kick that habit or whatever. But while homeless, that wasn't a problem. I could never seem to get my feet under me. There's a whole lot that happens, but suffice it to say, 7 months go by. I'm in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, California, and my mother offers for me to move to SoCal, San Diego, where my brother lives, and I was just like, fuck it, whatever, I have nothing here. Things had only turned more and more just... My best friend was not my best friend. They were someone who said they were my best friend, and that was not even on paper. It was just, empty words. And if you ever see this, Eleni, you earned it. You fucked up. You know that. I'm not putting you on blast. I'm just telling it like my story is. And why am I telling you? Because it's relevant. It's relevant to why I can do this, why I can do other stuff that I haven't told or haven't shown anybody yet. The greater extent of how this fucking universe is magical that you guys don't even have a clue how literal that is. You probably laugh and watch TikTok videos of these spiritual asshats, channelers, astral projectors, and other hoo-ha, voodoo and then woo-woo kind of people. Please understand, all of that shit is 100% real. But it's subjective. It's not something you can show somebody. It's not something you can explain to somebody. It's not something that you can prove to anybody, unless you've experienced it in some degree, fashion, or form yourself. That's what this is for you guys. My whole endeavor is to show that it is possible without any other nonsense attached to it. No spiritual labels, no deity worship, no good books. Just the bare bones, functional fucking mechanics of the universe and how it works. That is my gift to you, with hopes that you will support me for additional learnings, teachings, guidance. People have told me I should be a teacher. I very much don't love the idea, but I can see where they're coming from. I don't dislike the idea of educating people. It's just that in the scholastic system in academia, I would never fit a box that would be allowable. I would have gotten, I got a tenure situation. I would either have to be a complete liar and just a facade, and you know, putting on a song and dance, and I'm nobody's fucking dancing monkey. I am a whore though. I'm not cheap, but I'm nobody's dancing fucking monkey. And so back to the suicidal thing. Tangent, but all relevant. I moved to SoCal. I'm helping my mom, living in a studio apartment with her still currently, being her live-in caregiver, and the nightmare that has been associated with getting as her on legit paid caregiver, which Medi-Cal supposedly does, and it's taken, I got here in late March, I'm still not on the payroll yet, she's got Medi-Cal, it's gonna be back paid till fucking April, until we're now in October. Yay, social support systems and structures, right? Safety nets? Mm-hmm, yeah, okay, Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. Anyways, I gotta keep it entertaining. Yeah, I'm just gonna hear me ramble on for, you know, probably 20, 30 minutes at this point. But who cares? Maybe I'll, you know, chunk this out. Who cares? I don't know, I'm just putting it on fucking record. Anywho, the only thing that kept me going at that point was I was taking care of my mother. She needed my help. She's not in the best of health, but she's not in the worst. Her schizophrenia definitely impedes her from, you know, executive function kind of duties, you know, managing your day-to-day life, you know, your routine, your kind of like upkeep of all your responsibilities. Oh, and the fact that, you know, she's only given a starvation stipend from the government. It's barely enough to literally pay rent and feed yourself with a cell phone. Oh, and then you get to like pay electricity. That's it. And it's only because she lives in a rent-controlled senior living facility that I couldn't even live in unless I was her actual live-in caregiver, which I have been acting as. But for her, I was sticking around. But I was going nowhere. I was, you know, watching TV when I wasn't helping her out specifically. I was working minutely. I had just given up. You know, it was just to kind of help my mom out and hopefully get her kind of stabilized and situated. And for whatever reason, one day YouTube, the algorithm, popped up Gerard Morin. And I started a discovery, a journey that began for him in 2014. And for me, it's 2022. So I have, presumably, you know, 8 years of material to catch up to, and some of it's 50 minutes, some of it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. You know, it ranges from very much 30 minutes to like an hour, give or take. And there's, you know, quite a few videos. There's a lot of gaps in between his postings, and a good amount of it is hard to kind of like comprehend and understand if you don't really get electricity or electrical engineering, or for whatever reason you just don't, you know, have the attention span to focus on something that's magnificent. Because in the first video, he shows you a non-black box system, completely forward-facing, easy to understand, an idiot, a 5-year-old could follow along, where he takes 2 rechargeable battery packs, hooked up to a switch, just a little click on-off switch, to a little DC motor, you know, a little brrr, that he scavenged from somewhere, a tiny little thing. And he basically hooks up, you know, right next to it, to the shaft, a little pump from, what was it? It was from a washing machine or dishwashing machine or some stupid appliance. And he's basically spinning it, and so one end is spinning as your primary mover, and the other one is producing quote-unquote electricity on the other end, because it goes to a light bulb, and it goes to a couple other things, but really simplistic overall circuit, and then loops back. And he is basically getting more output than his input. He doesn't know or can't explain it currently, and he poses the question to the universe and YouTube at large. Hey, does anyone know the fuck this is? You know, let's figure it out. And he sets off on a journey. And over the course of a number of videos, a lot of difficult material to comprehend, because I don't know shit about electricity, still don't really know. I have a better understanding now. But he shows you every single step of the way, tells you exactly what he's doing, with what he's doing, how he's doing it, when he's doing it. And people would still shit all over him, either the trolls or, you know, like paid for PSYOP, government agent, CIA, whoever the fuck. But this goes on for years, where he doesn't ask for a single dollar. None of his videos are monetized. Not once. Is he trying to like, hey, give me money and I'll figure this out. I can make, you know, free energy. No. But he explains it to you. All you have to do is watch the goddamn videos and take some time, pause, you know, take some notes, just like you did when you're fucking back in school. and you can learn how to go over Unity and straight up build yourself a generator from everyday appliance parts, because advanced mathematics are not required. Only basic arithmetic are required. You don't even need to know about hardcore electrical engineering or diagrams or anything. It definitely certainly helps, but it's not necessary, not in the slightest. I don't know for certain, because you know who can these days, but the model of almost goddamn everything that we have taken for granted as this is how the world works, from day one, from in school, from kindergarten onwards, everywhere, you are told lies, half-truths, red herrings, misdirections, complete falsehoods, or any number of synonym associated with that complete garbage that we're fed. And because we don't test things, because we don't experiment with things, and because we can't, because everyone's so poor intentionally, everyone is so restricted intentionally, everyone's so distracted intentionally, divided intentionally, that we don't even have the time or energy to even bother doing that, because we're told by experts that are smarter than us that, oh, nope, it's already solved and you're never going to figure any way out. It's impossible. You're stupid if you even try. Really? This is stupid? This is stupid if you even try? Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay? I'm not cool good at it. I can't do it just without touching it, but I'll get there. And any of you can too. You just got to put in the time, the effort, the will, the knowledge, the belief, the time. You live in a magical universe. You are magical. There are no other addendums, asterisks to that. Whether or not you have to activate your other strands of DNA, whether or not you have to be a star-seed in your indigo child, I don't know. But I do know for a fact that I'm just an average person, you know, who's been shit on all their fucking life and tried to be nothing but a decent human being. Follow one golden rule: do unto others how you have wish done unto you, which no one fucking follows. I do. As much as I would love to just crush people's hearts and step on their fucking faces for what's been done to me, I know what pain feels like, viscerally. And I have a damn good imagination for the shit I haven't personally experienced. And other weird dreams and vivid that are just disturbing. But that's another tale for another time. But I know what it's like to be harmed and be in pain that you can't escape. So to do that to another person is unthinkable. But boy, howdy, do I really want to sometimes do some of the shit that's been done to me. You know? And not even because I'm weak. They deserve it. They have earned that shit. They have earned a fucking drop kick to the face. They have earned a fucking punch to the tit. They have earned a kick to the groin. But you can't be better than everyone else unless you're better than everyone else. Maybe one day someone will understand what that means. That's why I tell you all my trauma. That's why I divulge all this bullshit that maybe you'll watch, maybe you won't. Because it's the first time I've told even a 0.5% of my story. Not because I want fame, not because I want fortune, not because I want kudos or like, you know, oh, thoughts and prayers. No, because it's relevant to this. Emotions play a part in this equation. I'm not exactly sure what, but your anger, your fear, your hatred, your love, your consideration, your compassion, your compersion, your care, everything plays into what you can and can't do initially. And then it's simply just part of an equation of how you get from A to 12. Because it's not, as Gerard Morin will teach you, and someone else who I'll mention who is critical to learning and understanding this, that has nothing to do with metaphysics and spirituality, just, you know, name drop, you know, Theoria Apophasis. T-H-E-O-R-I, oh no, T-H-E-O-R-I-A, A-P-O-P-H-A-S-I-S, Theoria Apophasis. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. He's a hoot and a holler, but he's also, you know, not going to be nice to you, call you a fucking idiot, and straight up tell you that, you know, we're being fed garbage and lies. And the physics model that you recognize, that you've been taught, has been ingrained in your mind that it's going to take a long time to get past that model that your brain has become accustomed to in order to consciously talk to the subconscious to talk to the body, and the body to affect the work you want to do. That's why I said it's going to be hard to suspend your disbelief, to get over yourself. It's not a conscious issue. You need to figure out the way that works best for you to build the bridge to talk consciously to your subconscious, to then get the subconscious to buy in, believe what it's being told by you, the soul, the eternal, never dies soul, to believe in the idea it's being told by you, to then translate that into the machine code that your body understands. And then your body does the work. And I don't mean your physical, flesh, blood, organs, tissues. That's a big chunk of it. That's what you see, that's what you feel. But your actual energies, right now I feel a lot of pressure here. It's like a muscle flex. But at the same time, there's literal counterforce that's here that feels, and I can sense it. Like, it pushes on my fingers as though it's like a pressurized pocket of something. I've even got to the point where your pinky finger can actually generate light. I'm not exactly sure how to do so, but I figured it out incidentally when I was just trying to move something at a distance, or I've just been doing this for like 20 minutes, almost reading and scrolling on TikTok, just doing this, and then noticing that there was this weird purple haze around a little key ring that I'd had targeted from like a far distance. And I couldn't get it too dense, but I just kept focusing, and it hurt my arm, and it was just gonna fall apart at some point, so I had to relax. But your pinky finger has something to do with creating, I believe, a negative pressure space in three-dimensional space that you target. That's the pinky finger targets a point in space. Ring finger targets actual objects. Middle finger is essentially magnetism, give or take, in the dielectric field. Index finger is your trick in the dielectric field. And the thumb is I believe it's your circuit completer, your activation, but it also has to deal with the pressure and voltage associated, which is why you need to learn about Gerard Morin and theory apophysis, because it deals in exactly why your hands, being the controls that they are, doing what they do. Because they're not strictly part of telekinesis, mind powers. They're even greater than that, because it's the joystick for literal flight. Literal flight. I've been able to map out, when in a particular mudra that my fingers can't yet do, that all those spiritual teachers that are always in that stupid goddamn whatever the fuck pose with their legs that I can never get my legs to do, I don't bend that way currently, and all that art that's behind them, whether it's like the Buddha or, like Jesus or whoever the hell has their stupid halo, whatever. A lot of those holy books are essentially coded information told in a cipher visually and edited to holy high heaven. Those books are only valuable in the sense that they have secret information that is critical to your development for your magical capabilities. Now, if you can recognize that and then get past all of the negative aspects of they're in the book is there, don't deny it, you guys, it's there, negative aspects in those books. Again, misdirection, red herrings, flat out lies, half-truths, and, esoteric hidden knowledge. Reading between the lines says fucking nothing, but understanding that the visual representations and having a good understanding of physics and the symbology associated with physics, and then looking into religious texts, will illuminate you immensely. It's not easy to initially see, and trust me, I haven't seen the fucking Matrix, but I have a clear understanding that a particular mudra creates the Merkaba. You may not be able to see it with your physical eyes, but you can sense it, because the ring fingers and the pinky fingers, when in this mudra, you basically form the representation of the Merkaba, where it is the upside down, pyramid and the triangle, whatever, and then the upright one. Knowing which way to apply the pressure in your hands conforms to the literal attitude control and essentially shoulder motion, either I think it's yaw in aviation terms, to twist back, or at the hips, where your sitting position would be. So you have this position, and then you have this position. Your shoulders are this, which would be, I think, your root chakra or your groin, and then would be your, if I recall this correctly, it would be your crown, not the third eye, to your hips. Impact, because I've gotten to the point where I can focus on that aspect and feel the rotational force being applied to that particular area of the body. And because it functions on both thought, the physical nature of the hand positions, and whatever origins of combination of evolution, alien influence, higher dimensional entities, demons, angels, it doesn't matter. Labels are the thing that people waste too much of their time on. Labels, you waste time on those. Don't label it. Just use whatever post-it note that gets you past and into the actual work, into the actual practice, into the actual data. That is much more important than whatever the hell you call it. Period. You don't need to reach transcendental meditation. You don't need to get your kundalini activation. You don't need to achieve chakra flow and formation. It helps. Every bit of visualization, every bit of functional understanding and knowledge helps and is part of that equation. But it is not necessary. Brute force does work. It takes longer, less efficient, a little more straining. You look a lot more silly. And it's a lot harder to take yourself seriously to continue it because it takes time. Like I said, it took me a month and a half in the first videos to really kind of just do this, and I still have to be tethered to the thing. But now it's basically a little over 2 months, and I can almost get Scorpion's kind of goddamn get over here, I'll get there, and it's definitely neat. For me, I'm trying to imagine anything that is essentially connected to me, and if you have a good imagination, that can be an awful lot of cool stuff. Bungee cords, of course chains, and kites, yo-yos, literally anything you can connect yourself to. Now, I know for a fact, because of biogeometry, which you'll want to look up, Ibrahim, oh my god, what's his last name? Khan? I forget. As well as another person you might have come across on his videos on TikTok, which would be Video Advice, the Rosicrucian guy. You always hear him talk about that shit. Research biogeometry. Shapes literally have an impact on the physical reality. Simple shapes. They either channel certain energies, they either focus certain energies, they repel certain energies, they deflect. They have literal effect on reality that you just don't necessarily notice because, one, you haven't been told to look for that stuff. A three-dimensional object, even just drawing an object, that's why sigils work, because the existence of a simple shape of a thing, whether it's a physical piece of metal, a little bit of ceramic, or just ink on a page, factors into influence upon what you wish to accomplish. Now, I'm not going to say that I know how that works, but I do know that there are aspects, variables, and other pieces that are impacting, necessary, and go with this set of magic, manifestation, superpowers. The possibilities, and I shit you not, I am 100% serious, endless. It's a matter of getting the collective, the supra-organism that humanity is. All humans are psychically connected. All humans are psychic innately born with it. You were just told in school that magic doesn't exist. You're a kid, grow up, it's time to be an adult now. Stop pretending. I wonder why. Shapes matter. Color matters. There's a book called The Power of Color. It's a bitch and a half to find. I couldn't find it online to PDF it, but I had to order it, and it's almost intentionally kind of hidden away. I forget the name of the author. I'll get it to you guys later. I haven't fully read it yet, but I know for a fact color influences significantly. There are simply genetic, evolutionary, ingrained associations, which then are influenced by the collective consciousness that humanity is, which you can think of everyone being connected to the human consciousness field. Whatever you think about, that's why there's these experiments that have been done that show when they've done these literal proven research studies where, people in the UK will do a few puzzles as like a research project. And before that, they would have tested a bunch of people in other countries and they all did piss poor. But as soon as there was experience with these kind of puzzle sets, with these kind of challenges, as soon as it was experienced by a few humans, it got automatically uploaded to the people cloud, the humanity cloud. And subsequently, performance improved markedly, statistically relevantly. in different parts of the world that had no contact with these puzzles before. I don't have more data on it, I loosely recall it, but I know concretely that it's entirely factual and peer-reviewed and repeated. There's a number of other experiments that prove different facets of psychokinetic, psychic, and other extrasensory perceptions and abilities that we just discount, or we don't have any proper understanding of, and so it's kind of hard to go from here to there. It's Doctor Strange talking to the Sorcerer Supreme. How do you get from here to there? Insert snarky response from Bald Chick. You know, how did you get to reattach severed nerves and oh my god, what is this? Stitch bone or whatever? You know, like years of practice and intense study. That's all it takes. Just like getting a goddamn college degree. Do the work. Like I said, it looks goofy. Using my mind's a lot easier. It's a lot of play. That's another part of it. Getting back to when you're a little kid and playing, which a lot of people will say, yeah, I play video games, yeah, you know, I goof around. No, none of us as an adult. Very, 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 very few of us remember what it's like, let alone actually undertake play. Give no fucks about who was watching you. Give no cares. You're just in your own little imaginative world and just doing whatever, acting a fool, being completely embarrassing if you actually gave a shit. But if you can get to that state, all of a sudden, it's effortless. It's just effortless. It's still exerting. It still takes energy. Don't get me wrong, man. It's burning calories. How? To what degree? I don't know. But I will do this any goddamn day of the week for hours on end with a smile on my face, panting, heaving, almost ready to collapse with exhaustion. Then lift a dumbbell or run on a treadmill or go to a gym. Because fuck that shit. As you can see, you know, not the thinnest, most muscular person that there is. And there's a reason for that. I love cookies, I love candy, and frankly, TV is way more entertaining. And the fact that we haven't instituted technology like, I don't know, entertainment, some fucking flashing lights, a score system in the gym. Like, why has the gym not been gamified? I wonder why. You realize if you gamified the gym, every Call of Duty player would probably be like so cut. FYI. It doesn't even cost shit to do. You seen bowling alleys? That's like the most shittily gamified anything, and people still go to that stuff. I like that. Yeah, Walmart chains. Oh well. I stole it anyways, you know, because everyone's too poor these days, and fuck the Walton family. Literally, kill all the rich people. Kill them. None of them are good. Every single one of them are bad people. There is not a single billionaire that is a good person. I don't give a shit what you say. You have no proof. They have had the literal power to affect great beneficial change on this planet for years and have done not a goddamn thing. Period. Bezos, Musk, and Gates, Warren Buffett, and a couple others, could have single-handedly ended world hunger a number of times and still had money to burn. They have done nothing. They are your enemy. They are our enemy. They are the only enemy. Not the police, although they are part of this whole crazy pedo ring nonsense that is going cloaked under the radar for a lot of people that don't recognize that the largest export of the United States of America, human trafficking. That is not a conspiracy theory. There is video showcasing that they are making arrests and raids, and that has been ongoing for over a year now. And they've been keeping it very much hush-hush because they don't want to spook all these perverted monsters who are raping, murdering, cannibalizing children, let alone everyone else under the sun, for whatever reason. Whether it be occult practices, magic, blood, whatever the hell, doesn't fucking matter. They are all evil enemies. So your fellow neighbor, if they are a judge, if they are a police officer, if they are a legislator in power in any actual effectual way, there is a significantly high chance they are part of this. Now, I'm not saying go murder rampantly and go like disregard. It's like, oh, what do you do? I'm a legislator. Kill him. Like, don't take out certain people, obviously. But hey, they do not need to be in power for one more second. You could take anybody, and put them in those positions. Because as Orange Julius taught us, anybody can be president. Any moron can do the job. Think about that. Because frankly, it's been too long since every single human being on Earth has taken responsibility, not for just their own lives, but for the way in which society functions and been participant of that, with that, to that. Because it has been made that way. We have been intentionally obfuscated, blockaded, stymied, hindered, and just in every way, shape, or form, kept away from positions of power for the decent human beings that there are around you every single day, that you have been trained to think, oh, the other, the stranger, fear them, your fellow neighbor can't be trusted. I wonder why. None of us congregate. Few of us have friends. Men and women are dying every day from just isolation and loneliness, magnified to a significant degree because of COVID and all these other unending problems, which, whether or not it's just fakery or, legit manufactured nonsense, it's nonsense nonetheless. And we all need to actively get off our asses. Netflix will still be there, because even if you took out the CEO or every rich person, your cloud data will still be there. Your shows will still be there. It is shitty to say, though, that a lot of the celebrities who've had to either be imposed upon them had no choice, even though because they wanted to be rich, they had a choice. It sucks to think that anyone you watched in a show or a movie and didn't idolize, but were very much entertained by their work, partakes, visited Epstein's Island. Yeah. Still a wonder why that list of who went there and for how long and all those videotapes from Ghislaine Maxwell still haven't been released. But that's also in part why there's a lot of hush-hush and all these raids are being done, because thank goodness for that evil monster bitch is still alive and smart enough to get the ball rolling. And I cannot wait for the truth to actually finally fucking come out, because it will be a joyous day, not for vindication purposes, but because actual shit got done and is getting done. But it's not enough for us to let them be Captain Save Us hoes. We have to take power back. We have to enact our power. We have to get off our own asses, all of us, self-included. That's why I'm doing this. Whether it gets taken down, whether I get reposted, whether I get murked, it's not that I don't care. I'm just to the point where I'm doing what I can with what I have, and it's fucking nothing. This camcorder I've had for years, it's just brand new because I never used it. And I take care of my few things that I've ever managed to get. Lifted stuff from a big box store. Cheapy little stuff. Nothing fancy. My phone's fucking broken half the time. Can't really use it. Had to really take advantage of those insurance, like Assurant, the $100 you can get a replacement refurb. But, you and I, all of you, anyone who has watched this long and this far for however I end up editing this, it's not enough to simply post on social media. It is not enough to protest and wave a sign and do some chants. It is not enough to stop buying something or start buying some other thing. It is not enough for what needs to be accomplished to free, literally, to free humanity from its bondage, our slavery. That is fact, that is not a fiction, that has been intentionally done to all of us. And whether or not you want to accept that reality is no care of mine, because the number of people that do believe it, the number of people that will believe it, and the number of people that will take action based on those understandings of fact, outnumber the naysayers, outnumber the psyops, outnumber the the paid-for people who are trolling online all the time, saying you're crazy, no, it's not right, or this data, that data, just conflicting, dividing, focus on this racism, focus on this division, team red, team blue. They're all the same. They're rich, powerful people in positions of power, but they don't have magical abilities like you do, and you will have if you practice, if you invest in this. 2.5 months. is what I've spent. And I could be lethal if I really wanted to, but that's not my goal, that's not my aim. I'm not trying to be Scorpion. I'm not trying to make a fucking bullet fly into someone's head. That's not my aim. I like to goof around, play around, and fuck about, like play video games and watch anime and shit. But it's gotten to the extent which all of the stuff in front of my face, proven video evidence, and only an idiot would just ignore it kind of stuff, let alone subjective experiences. You know, the amount of stuff on TikTok, the amount of leaked and whistleblown stuff over the years, the only reason the government is not your friend is because none of us are part of government. The good people are stuck in retail jobs. The decent human beings are stuck at home, watching kids, unpaid labor, making good humans, investing in children to become good humans, teachers, you know, educators, the Bernie Sanderses of the world who have dedicated their lives that have nothing but a proven track record of since they had hair. Consistency. I really wish I remembered the speech. Because all of this has been for the Rick and Mortys that believe in the Citadel and the Rick and Mortys that don't. We outnumber you.